Greetings folks, Chris here, and welcome to yet another on Two and Proper's Citizen Carry channel. And folks, this video is not about citizen carry. And besides, those citizens get awfully heavy after a while. Now I came up with this idea because whilst I was assembling the items for my dry box, because I'm about to go on one of those annual canoe/camping trips with my brothers, I thought, hey, this big light bulb came out above my head. Let's show the viewers what you have in your dry box, and then in the comment section, let's ask them to tell you what they would put in their dry box or what they carry in their bug out kit. Now, what is a dry box? Basically, a dry box is a box of things that you wish to keep dry. And it is that simple too. It's a box of things that are important to you, important to bring on your trip or your expedition or whatever the deal is, but you wish to keep these items dry. And this particular dry box right here has a gasket right here along the inside of this lip right here to seal out extra moisture. Now it doesn't have to be 100% waterproof, or at least this one isn't. And I'm sure that they do make them that are 100% waterproof. Mine isn't. That's not that important to me. But the contents of the dry box, this is very important because these are items that I would want to have with me while I was camping should I need them for any reason, or should I have to bug out for any reason. I can empty the contents of this dry box into a backpack and hit the road. So these are very useful items. And I thought, why not show the viewers what it is that I carry in my dry box again, and then find out from them what they bring. So let's go ahead and begin. First things first here, paracord. Now, paracord or any cord or rope is very, very important. It's going to be your best friend on just about any trip or expedition that you need to launch on. Always paracord, always paracord. So rope, paracord, any sort of cordage, very valuable. What's next here? Oh yes, this is the knife. It's good to have a good sturdy knife, and in this case, this is a Strayed SCH-F9 knife. It is a very solid, pretty sharp, but a very solid knife that you can use even to cut wood away or for any heavy-duty type of knife work. It's good to have a nice solid knife. And this particular knife here came with the case, which also had a little pocket for an additional item that you would want to bring. And in my case, I packed in here my fire starter kit, my flint and sparky type of fire starter kit right here. So that's a good thing to have with you. I mean, if you're by yourself without anything, if you have a knife and if you have some fire starting capabilities, you've got most of your battle won right there. So it's good to have some sort of fire starting kit with you or fire starting capabilities. A fire keeps many people alive. So this is the Strayed SCH-F9 knife. And speaking of Strayed, I've got this mini hatchet. And this is all steel construction, so let me show you this. This is only 17 bucks. Or it was only 17 bucks when I got it, but this is just a mini hatchet. It's got some good weight. It's about as heavy as a hammer. And again, it's all steel construction all the way through. And the grippage is over top of the steel. So you've got kind of a hammer here. You've got a chopper right here. Very useful. Now again, this is a light duty type of hatchet. It's good to have one of those around, but if you have heavier duty work to do, bring an axe. Fire starter, this is Duraflame Fire Start. Some of you may or may not want to carry this in your dry box. I mean, this is just a little bit, it's not heavy, but it's taking up room in your dry box. You can start a fire out of just about anything, but something like this is good to have, as well as something like this, dryer lint. You can start fire with these two items. I've got both in my dry box. Insect repellent. Oh yeah, I've got insect repellent covered. And then I've got a smaller one in case I'm bringing a smaller bag on some sort of satellite expedition that I'm doing. A little mini insect repellent, but I've got insect repellent covered here. Fells Naphtha laundry soap. Yes, most of what you're doing is out in the wild and stuff like that. And should you see a bear and soil yourself, the Fells Naphtha will help you very greatly to get those stains out of your gutchies. Fells Naphtha. Rubber bands for whatever you need them for. I just thought I would toss in a bag of rubber bands. You never know how you could use a rubber band. Toothpicks, plackers, dental floss. That's for obvious reasons. And hand sanitizer. I'm a very sanitary person, especially when I'm cooking, so You may or may not want this in your bag. It may or may not matter to you. I like having it in there. A multi-tool right here. This is one of those ones with the pliers, the knife, the files, the screwdrivers, and stuff like that. Of course, that would prove to be very useful. And you can get one of these things or something like it at Harbor Freight for like $6, $7. That could very well be the best $6 or $7 you've ever spent. It's always good to have some sort of tool with you. Now right here, I got this at Walmart, but I like this because this is a little mini backpack. One compartment backpack, and I think it would take about 3 gallons of material. And it's not very much, but it's waterproof. So if you're going out on a short little trip and you have some items that you wish to keep dry, something like this might be useful. Now, I would not consider by any stretch for this thing to be my main backpack or my bug out bag itself, but it would be good for, again, little scouting or / short expedition type of items. So there you go. Here we go. We've got 4 tent stakes for whatever. Of course, this would be for lashing down my shelter or something like that. You know, so 57 cents a piece at your hardware store, Walmart or whatever. Tent stakes are always good to bring along. They're lightweight. They don't take up much room. Zip ties. 2 different sizes of zip ties. Now, zip ties are very useful, and you can use them for a lot, but mostly you can use them once. So I did not pack a ton of zip ties, but they're not heavy. So if you wanted to pack a lot more zip ties, it's not going to add a whole lot of weight to your loading. So zip ties are always useful. They're useful at home. They're going to be useful out there. Here I've got a ton of clamps for whatever reason, for whatever uses. Life straw. You can drink thousands of gallons of water through this life straw, filtering out microbials down to the 99.99 something percent of the microbials. And you can drink from just about any water source. This is a straw. This is literally a straw where you would drink from this side. You would have this side in whichever water source you're doing. So if you're packing light, or if it's definitely an emergency outing where you need to pack as light as you possibly can, you're still going to need the drink. That's going to be one of the most important things to you wherever you go, wherever you are. Something like a $17 life straw could save your life. By the way, you can also find those life straws at Walmart. Oh, also at Walmart. I saw this and thought I would throw it in there. A survival reflect tent. So as you can see, this is kind of a mini temporary type of shelter that you can put up to keep the sun off you, maybe to keep the weather off you. What if you're in trouble? What if you're trapped somewhere? You've got this little tent right here to protect you from the elements in the most basic way. So $4 or $5, I thought, hell, I'd piss on a spark plug if I thought it would do me any good. I'll go ahead and throw this in there too. So survival reflect tent. Speaking of sanitation, I brought a food thermometer in mine because I could take the temperatures of whatever foods we're eating to make sure that we don't get foodborne illness out on the trail or for whatever we decide to eat. I mean, God forbid you should be mowing down on a skunk and eat the thing at the improper temperature and get sick. Then you might just need these Imodium tablets for in the event you get the drizzling shits. This is a good thing to bring in your bag too. Imodium, never hurt. And fire starter here. No, wow, the theme of this whole thing is fire starting, isn't it? Of course, this is a big lighter, long nosed. Speaking of starting fires, storm-proof matches. If it's very, very windy and you just so happen to not have a long nose lighter like this, storm-proof matches. The fire, folks, is going to be the most important thing to you too for your survival. Starting fires is important. And I've got a miscellaneous hardware right here, and in this thing I've got, let's see, I've got this little portable saw right here. Even though I'm going to get a handsaw later, this is just a little portable pole saw. So you've got a strap at one end, a strap at the other, and this is the cutting surface right here. And basically what you do is you put it on the log that you need to cut, and you floss it like this until you've cut through the log. I would imagine this is going to take a long time, but it would be better than actually trying to bend it or break it over your knee or whatever the deal is. I've got some carabiners here. These are rated for 60 pounds, so you can't use these for mountain climbing, but you can get these things as strong as you need them. And they're very useful to clip things too, so it's always good to have a couple extra of these. As well as, you can see that I've got some screw hooks, some hand screwing hooks that you can put into trees and actually strap your things up off the ground to keep animals out of it. Or a place to attach your paracord when you're doing your shelter to keep your tarp over top of you or whatever, and some nails and things like that just in case. So you never know, and there is no real off-limits hardware to bring out there. You can always use it. If you can use it, bring it, especially if it's lightweight enough. And here I've got CCI's VMAX 17 HMR fishing kit. So I've got some hooks and sinkers, a bobber in there, should I be bobber fishing for a smaller type of fish. And believe me, if you're desperate enough, anything's going to be delicious. So here's a small little fishing kit right here. And that reminds me, I've got to get a little spool of fishing line in my kit. I don't have that anymore. I used it on my fishing pole. Duct tape. I don't need to explain to you guys the importance or the millions of uses for duct tape. And a magnifying glass for fire starting, or for looking at small items. You can start fires with a magnifying glass quite easily, as a matter of fact. Right here I have a small knife. This is a Spyderco Bird. This is about a $13 or $14 knife. This is very useful. Just a general utility type of knife. This is a very sharp knife. Good to have. Very small and very compact is important. And here is a very small and very compact compass slash whistle. This is my Me Too whistle. I'm using it all the time, but it alerts people where your whereabouts are, and it's got a compass, and this one has a thermometer. How about that, yos? I can tell what temperature it is while I'm freezing to death. And this I felt was pretty important to have in the kit. This is the guide for edible wild plants, mushrooms, fruits, and nuts out here in North America or wherever there is wooded areas. And this book is very comprehensive, and it even gives you some recipes. It's got wild berries, it's got wild asparagus, it's got milk thistle, which mushrooms you can eat, which mushrooms are edible, and I love mushrooms, by the way, and which weeds you can eat, which plants you can eat, what you can do with tree bark, what you can do with parts of the tree, how you can make teas, ferns, fiddleheads, all sorts of stuff like that. If you're out there and you don't want to be at a loss for what you can eat, something like this could potentially save your life too. It could keep you from eating the wrong thing. That way you don't have to necessarily go hungry or pass up the loads and loads of things that you've been walking by. You could potentially gather them to eat. And I am very interested, as a matter of fact, while I've got this guide out, to take this out into the field sometime and see if I can find these things, collect these things, and eat these things, and see what it's like to eat them. Some of the things I am told in this book aren't the greatest things to taste. They'll give you some nutritional value in here. But also, I could have been looking at plants that I have commonly seen on the trail that could potentially be good tasting. So you never know. Again, I find this to be a very useful book, and I got this on Amazon. This is The Complete Guide to Edible Wild Plants, Mushrooms, Fruits, and Nuts by Katie Letcher Lyle, right? What can you eat? Now you know. But anyway, folks, that's the contents of my dry box thus far. And as I look at this dry box, I want to add an 8x8 or a 10x10 foot tarp, because I had one in here before, but I used it for something out in my backyard. So I need to replace that with an 8x8 or 10x10 foot tarp. And I want to get a couple of large bandanas for the purpose of keeping the sun off my neck and whatnot. I still need to get some of my fishing line. And it really wouldn't be a bad idea to have a small walkie-talkie for in the event that you get close enough to people or fiddle with the frequencies and stuff like that, and you could potentially find your help if you're lost. So that's just one more thing in the box. That's a little bit more weight, but it could prove to be valuable to you in your life. But that's it, folks, and I appreciate you watching this. And down in the comments section, if you have any ideas for what you would put in your dry box or what you would put in your bug out kit, let us know. Let me know. I am always open to more suggestions. It's always good to be prepared when you're out there. So if any of you have any good ideas, what hardware ideas, what common household items would be useful out there, and whatnot, please include them in the comment section below. It'll be much appreciated. And folks, don't forget to check us out on Patreon. As you guys know, we have gone donation-based as YouTube/Google has taken on quite the war against conservatism, against gun channels. We are becoming an endangered species, but we don't have to, so we've got things like Patreon $1 a month, $3 a month, you won't even miss that coming out of your paycheck, and you could be helping one of the smaller channels, such as mine, be able to bring you better and more quality content and to get the word out, those words being the words that YouTube and Google don't want you to have. You can help us out by donating on Patreon. But folks, that's it. And don't forget to hit the comment section below and tell us what you would put in your dry box or bug out kit. Any advice or suggestions helps the next guy pass on the word. And my next video is probably going to be, what do I keep in my little med kit? Well, that's coming up. But thanks for watching, folks. I'm Chris. My email address is scrolling across the bottom of the screen as we speak right now. That's toimproper@gmail.com. Write and I will answer you, provided you're going to be polite about whatever it is you have to say, and if I've got the time. God bless America, folks, and keep on protecting your families, yourselves, your country, its flag, its honor, and your constitutional amendments, because you know very well it's the right thing to do.